Hey, it's Jamie from Crown Rebellion. I'm sitting here with Denise Cook, writer, poet, songwriter, dancer. You got it all going on, don't you?
Here's what happened. When I was a kid, I was diagnosed with hyperactivity. My medical record read overproduction of hyperkinetic energy. Today they call that ADHD and ADD. And so instead of challenging me and saying, you know, stop doing this, stop doing that, my father said, no, let's encourage everything. And so he encouraged the development of every aspect of what it was that was a part of who I am. And that was totally artistic, from writing, singing, acting, dancing, all of that was encouraged from my father. So, yeah.
That's awesome to have that support from the get-go.
Yeah.
So you're a member, part of Lava.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you become a part of it?
I was invited by Carmelita Pittman. You're going to hear that name a lot. She's probably the #1 thread between most of the artists who will find themselves becoming a part of Lava, because she has her fingers, her reaches like an octopus. She knows everybody. So I was invited by Carmelita to the screening of a documentary movie. It was called Marlon Brando Unauthorized. And Miss Esperanza Luna was in the audience, and Carmelita introduced the two of us, and we couldn't stop talking during the breaks, intermission, and what have you. And she says, you've got to work with me, you got to do this. And my first endeavor with her was at Elderberry's. It was a book signing for a friend of ours, Gloria Berlin, who did a book about Neverland, you know, Michael Jackson. And it was awesome. I shared my poetry, did my thing. I do R&B, jazz, spoken word poetry. Esperanza did some poetry, a few other people did some. It was just the most wonderful experience. I was invited to do a second event, but I wasn't available at the time. I had a conflicting gig or engagement. And then just recently we did an event for CCI, Artists for a Better World, and I got the call. And that's the great thing about Lava, is that there's no micromanagement. It's just Esperanza has a unique ability to know exactly which artists to pull together to make a real solid showing of what Lava represents and what Lava is all about. So I get the call, it says, can you do it? Sound check, Everything was professional, everything was right as it was supposed to be. I showed up, they gave me a table, put my stuff up. It was awesome. So I am totally pro Lava.
Yay, Lava. Yay, Lava. So, tell me about Denise Cook and this name, the Oracle. Where does the Oracle come from?
The Oracle is a name, a title given me by my music producer, Kate Johnson. Oh gosh, I'd say it's going on 6 years now. He happened to be in the audience at Stevie's on the Strip. It's in Encino at Balboa and Ventura Boulevard. I was singing with an 18-piece orchestra doing what I do. It wasn't straight jazz, it wasn't straight singing. It's like I said, it's a combination of poetry and music and song and all of that. And he was there in the audience, and he says, I gotta produce you. We got together, and in the ensuing months of getting the work, you know, compiling the music and deciding which pieces from I have a couple of books of poetry, which pieces that we wanted to turn into songs. He says, you know, I know they call you China Eyes and everything, but from what I've seen, how you react to people and how people react to you and how you are, he says, you're more of an orator, you're more of an oracle. You're forever after the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek, you've heard of him, he's in the Bible and in the holy books and what have you. And basically what he did is he had an ability to say exactly what people needed to hear. He never really gave advice. He simply gave options on a thought or a theme, helping people to make up their own minds about what they do. And basically that's really what the Oracle does. She never really tells you exactly verbatim. She simply gives you options, you know. And so that's what I do. I have a tendency to make people feel good about themselves. And so that's how I fit in the realm of the Oracle. And I like it. It makes you feel good and people seem to like it.
That's great. We need more people like you in the world. But yeah, tell me about Denise Cook.
Oh gosh. You know, I would come across as sounding as a braggart, because there's so much. I believe Esperanza earlier on had mentioned the many facets of the diamond that I am. I'm not bragging, it just happens to be a statement of fact. Everything I do, I have to do well. My father said anything worth doing is worth doing well, and anything you put your time and effort into, you may as well get the paper. And so I have a couple of masters, I have some credentials, I have some, you know, all of these papers and whatever to say what it is that I do. Denise Cook. I wanted to be a dancer as early as I can remember, but people laughed at me because I couldn't dance by African American standards. I'm of mixed race, okay? So you like that movie, White Boys Can't Jump? But this white girl couldn't dance. But my sister, who had muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy, never walked a day in her life, taught me how to dance. How did she do that? From her hospital bed? She had me hold on to the doorknob, and because she couldn't get out of bed, we had this portable record player. When you lift the spindle, it would go, you know, with the battery, and then she said, listen to the music. You don't dance sad to happy music. You don't dance fast to slow music. Listen to the music. And she'd say, snap your fingers, bend your knees. She'd tell me when to do it while I was learning to listen to the music. This is about age 8. She actually had to teach me how to dance because I came to her one day crying, oh, they're calling me, excuse the language, they're calling me Whitey and Hunky and, you know, and all these, you know, bad names, you know, that really hurt my feelings. And she told me to shut up. Go get me the record player, I'm going to teach you how to dance. And that's what she did, you know. So that's initially how I began. And I went on to get my degree in dance from UCLA in her honor, to pay homage to the fact that she could never walk, but she taught me, she gave me the gift that I have. She showed me how to develop it and how to share it with others. In terms of the writing, I started writing, I was first published at age 8 through the Archdiocese. I went to Catholic school, and they have this scholastic achievement, you know, newspaper, you probably heard of it. And I began getting published then as early as 8 years old, writing short stories and poetry. I stopped writing for a period because, well, you know, we all have our dysfunctional family stories, and my mother had some issues with some of my writings because I was a realist. I wrote truth. In fact, that's what I'm known for today. My sister said, my play sister Janet, she says, I tell the truth to the point of pain. I tell the truth to the point of reality, that's all. But, so I did stop writing for a period of time, and I picked it back up when I was in college, because you gotta write in college. There's theses, term papers, you know the deal. You really have to, you know. And I found, oh, this is something I can really get off on, you know. So that's where the writing came in. So we've covered dance, we've covered the writing. The singing, to be quite honest, I would have told you 6 years ago that I'm not a singer, that I can carry a note. But it was when Keck Johnson discovered me Hollywood style at Stevie's on the Strip. He came up to me and says, I gotta produce you. And I had never had anyone in the industry at that level. And I tell everybody, Google him, Keck Johnson, you know. I had never had anyone at that level actually tell me that I could sing. I mean, really tell me that I could sing and say it in a way that I believed it. I honestly believed it. So now, hey, you ask me, can I say, girl, can I sing? I'm going to give you a little sample a little bit later, you know. Gosh, what else? The publishing. In 2003, I decided to publish my first book. And I found a publisher. His name is, Cullen Chambers from Back to One Publications. And he says, you know what, I'm not going to charge you the exorbitant amount of money that I normally charge. I'm going to actually teach you how to publish because I think you've got the capacity for that. I think you can handle that. And he actually walked me through the process, showed me the do's, the don'ts, the hope. And I opened my publishing firm, I think it was in 2008, because I wanted to do for others what he had done for me. Small press. Booklets, pamphlets, flyers. That's my first book, Full Circle, Balance in Life, a collection of poetry and prose chronicling self-love and self-awareness. My second book, I gotta show you, The Oracle Speaks, Just Because, and that's it, just because. And this is new. I just started doing these last year as an answer to questions that many of my clients, I do consultations on the telephone and things like that with, you know, people who they just need a shoulder. They need an ear, somebody to listen to give them some insight, truthful insight. So I started writing this as an answer to some of those dialogues called The Oracle Presents 10 Pages of Nothing But the Truth. And I've got volume 5. I've got up to volume 5. My goal is 10. And there are only 10 truths in each one, and they are all each different. Common sense stuff, girl. Nothing way out there. But when people hear it or they read it for themselves, they're like, oh my God, that was meant for me. You know, so that's some of the aspects of who I am.